Good evening, my name is Karabo Powe. I'm going to give a brief presentation on innovation in higher education. Firstly, going to start with what is innovation? The term innovation refers to the introduction of a new idea, method, or a device. From a management's perspective, Peter Drucker suggested that innovation is a change that creates a new dimension of performance. From a higher education perspective, innovation is the successful exploitation of new ideas, where innovation can refer simply to some new way of doing things, or a change that improves administrative or scholarly performance, or a transformational experience based on a way of thinking. Modernization of higher education. Harnessing new models of learning and teaching to modernize higher education. Quality enhancement as a result of shared high-quality learning materials and more creative and individualized pedagogical approaches. Creating a more diverse higher education system by widening access and facilitating. Increased global visibility by reaching new target groups in an international context. More personalized learning informed by better data. Increased global visibility by reaching new target groups in an international context. And increased global visibility by reaching new target groups in an international context. Greater global and local collaboration and cooperation. The fourth industrial revolution, what it means, what it entails, and how to respond to the fourth industrial revolution, how it's going to influence and how it influences higher education institutions. The first industrial revolution used water and steam power to mechanize production. The second used electric power to create a mass production. The third used electronics and information technology to automate production. Now a fourth industrial revolution is building on the third. The use of electronics and information. A digital revolution that has been occurring since the middle of the last century. It is characterized by a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. There are three reasons why today's transformation represents not merely a prolongation of the third industrial revolution, but rather the arrival of a fourth and distinct one. Velocity, scope, and systems impact. The speed of current breakthroughs has no historical precedent. When compared with previous industrial revolutions, the fourth is evolving at an exponential rather than a linear pace. Moreover, it is disrupting almost every industry in every country, and the breadth and depth of these changes herald the transformation of entire systems of production, management, and governance. The need for innovative student learning. Higher education is becoming a global internet-based business, but few universities are equipped to fully embrace the potential that this offers. MOOCs, massive open online courses, which provide access to free online courses by a wide range of universities and open to students with any academic background. The need for innovative student learning then continues further. They are attracting millions of students from across the globe. To what extent, though, is the MOOC really revolutionary and disruptive? Or is it being used cynically by the most elite institutions to further increase their brand power and assert their superiority, whilst the middle tier of institutions lose student numbers and academic credibility? Do MOOCs hold the potential to support the developing world in its academic ambitions, or are they just another example of neo-colonialism? And what about online learning more broadly? Are we giving enough attention to the quiet revolution of blended learning that has been taken place over many years? And what that digital skills for learning and teaching, the need for innovative student learning. Whether MOOCs succeed or fail or quickly evolve to become something else, they offer a clarion call for higher education systems to consider its future models and to test out new approaches to the way that it does its business, how it creates courses and courses materials, how it teaches, how it supports students, how it accredits degrees, and how it markets itself, how it covers its cost or makes a profit. There is another potentially more sinister perspective to the seemingly open philosophy of MOOCs. Behind the online learning system, sophisticated data collection and analysis tools are being created that will gather and analyze information about each student as they move through the system, as they learn and interact with each other. This is valuable data. For the first, universities will have to live information about the study habits of many millions of students linked to their personal profile. The potential to use this data for the good to develop increasingly adaptable and personalized learning systems is huge, but therein also lies the potential for misuse and, in the words of for-profit providers of education, for brand differentiation. What are the implications of this innovation, for good and for bad? And are we giving enough due care and attention to how we allow this data? Pressure. Innovative learning environments. The development of computer technologies such as internet, combined with the shift from a transmission notion of teaching and learning towards a constructivist notion of teaching and learning, has led to a rethinking about what constitutes an effective learning environment. Today's higher education leadership is required to balance the fiscal pressures of running a large organization influenced by external forces such as rankings and increased competition for students, and faculty and internal stresses produced by boards and accrediting agencies who are demanding more transparency, accountability, and tangible evidence of success, are best served by seeking continued innovation in curricular programs, delivery mechanisms, and support. Innovative learning environments. Innovation and flexibility in higher education continues to evolve worldwide. Up to the advent of online degree programs in the late 20th century, the landscape in higher education has been constantly changing. Whilst this evolution has led to the expansion of the higher education industry and an advancement in educational aspirations and attainment, ongoing improvement in this dimension is imperative, and is on emphasis on quality, openness, and ongoing improvements in higher education. Innovative strategies for teaching in higher education, cooperative learning, problem-based learning, project-oriented learning, and most recently the service learning and research-based learning. This strategy is recognized also as research-oriented learning or inquiry-based learning. A strategy is a result of the correlation and the conjunction of three components: the institutional mission, the courses, contents, and knowledge that form the educational process, and the conception formed around the student and this attitude towards the scholar. The most innovative strategies, they are centered in the learning process and orientated to the construction of knowledge. They determine the structure of the whole scholar program by generating a vertical dynamic, facilitate a student with the mediation of learning tools and instruments. The incorporation of teaching strategies in technological platform, e.g. Votela, Blackboard, Moodle, WebCT, AVA, etc. by designing learning activities rather than teaching ones structured according to the methodological steps of the strategies are some of the most innovative student learning strategies.